So, rough perspective. Now that we've gotten used to vanishing points in a direct, explicit fashion, let's look at removing those training wheels and trying to estimate our convergences a little. You'll find this pattern to my approach. I'll introduce certain tools and tricks and steadily take them away as we strip these concepts back to their core. Right, I might do 2 days. I might just do it all today. I don't know. I feel all right. Um, we'll see how I feel after the first one though. As before, draw a frame on the page and a horizon across it, place a single vanishing point on it this time, as we'll be working in 1 point perspective. Ugh. You can place this vanishing point somewhere more central. It doesn't need to be dead center, but don't put it too far off to the side either. You may use a ruler or straight edge for this. Every line after this point should be freehand using the ghosting method. So to make the plane that we're going to draw in, we can use a ruler. But everything else, we ghost. So, where the plotted perspective had us start off with the edge we were facing, this time, since we're using 1 point perspective and therefore oriented towards a face on each of our boxes, we are going to block out those faces. In 1 point perspective, one of the horizontal vanishing points of our boxes is going to be at infinity, as will be one of the vertical vanishing points. As such, all of our vertical lines will run perpendicular to the horizon, and all of the horizontal lines will run parallel to it, leaving only one set of lines that converge towards our single vanishing point. So, let's draw a series of rectangles within the frame. Each rectangle will serve as a front face of a different box and will define their height and width. Now things get a little tricky. The main limitation of this exercise is that you're not allowed to draw lines all the way back to the vanishing point. That means this is going to take a great deal of estimation, which is why it's called the rough perspective exercise, not the exact perspective. So, start with just one line coming off the corner and draw it back towards the vanishing point, but only as far as the length you wish to give this box. Don't cheat by making your boxes super long. We're not aiming for cubes here, so the length doesn't need to match the height or width of your rectangles from the previous step. Again, use the ghosting method. Start out by putting little points where you want your line to start and end will help, and ghosting all the way towards the vanishing point can also help you maintain your alignment with it. But of course, you can't actually draw the line all the way back. So here we would make the little point, and which is our estimation of where the vanishing point is, and ghost our line in. So now that all three dimensions of your boxes are established, it's just a matter of figuring out the rest of the puzzle. Place points on the page for the remaining three corners of the back of the box. Remember that your horizontal lines are still running parallel to the horizon, verticals are still running perpendicular to it, and your depth lines are converging towards the horizon. With all of this in mind, try to place your points on the page in a way that maintains all of these relationships. None of this is guesswork. There are specific rules and behaviors you follow, so if at any point you feel you're not sure what your next mark should be, step back and think about it. So here we have all the points for the box made. All right. Then draw the remainder of your lines, connecting the points with the ghosting method, and that's all there is to it. Just do it again for the rest of the rectangles in your frame. Once you're done a whole page, grab a pen of a different color or a pencil or something you can visibly separate from the rest of your work, and then using a ruler, take all of your depth lines, those that are meant to converge towards the vanishing point, and expand them to where they intersect with the horizon. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna see how good of a job we did. We are not plotting these red lines back to the vanishing point, just the horizon line. This will show us a concrete idea of how far off we were. There's a good chance that you'll find them not intersecting with it at the vanishing point, and you may also find that the further away your boxes are from the vanishing point, the further off they are in their alignment. This is totally normal, and it helps a great deal to go over our work in this manner to help identify where our estimation of perspective tends to drift so we know what to focus on during our next attempt. Now, the purpose of this exercise is all about separating you from the explicit reliance on plotting everything back to your vanishing point and getting used to the fact that your parallel lines converge. Due to the nature of perspective, with the innumerable vanishing points that may be necessary in a given scene, we can't necessarily rely on all of them being explicitly drawn out, especially if we don't want to spend the better years of our lives plotting it all out. As such, there's a lot of value in learning about how the lines themselves behave on their own, as well as coming to appreciate the fact that oftentimes close enough is more than good enough. Even though you've got mistakes in your estimations, the boxes are still likely to look pretty close to correct, and ultimately there are more important things than perfection when it comes to getting an idea across with visual means. Now for the common mistakes. Guessing. When adhering to a strict perspective system, 1.2.3, you immediately give up a fair bit of flexibility in terms of how the objects you're drawing will be oriented. For example, if everything is drawn according to the same two vanishing points, it will be as though everything was placed on a set grid. There is a vast advantage, however, to this. Because the orientation of objects becomes restricted, we limit the possible behavior of every line to only a few options. Many students ignore this fact, however. They lay out their vanishing points and assume they'll know by instinct how every line should behave. Instead of knowing, they guess. If you ever catch yourself guessing or uncertain about how to draw a line, stop and step back. Take a look at the system you're working with and think about the short list of possible behaviors. In 1 point perspective we are using for this exercise, you have the following behaviors. All lines that go off into the distance converge at that vanishing point. All horizontal lines run perfectly parallel to the horizon, and all vertical lines run perfectly perpendicular to the horizon. So I guess we can look at this now. And you can see where, because this is one vanishing point, these boxes are wrong, because the horizontal lines are not parallel to the horizon, and the verticals aren't perpendicular, so it's wrong. There are simply no other options. Every single line will adhere to one of these three behaviors. So find which one matches the line you're trying to draw and then apply it. It is fair to say that in 1 point perspective, you can have lines that don't run parallel or perpendicular to the horizon. But these rules are going to hold fast here, however, because for the purpose of this exercise, all of our boxes are going to run parallel to the ground plane rather than being slanted or angled. So, another mistake is plotting lines back to the vanishing point. So the point of this exercise is to get used to visualizing the lines going back to the vanishing point in your mind's eye rather than actually drawing them on the page. So instead of drawing those lines, you can work on your accuracy by ghosting the lines all the way back at a good angle, then only drawing the segment required for the box you're drawing. So don't plot actual lines back to the vanishing point, do it in your head and by ghosting. Another mistake, not using 1 point perspective. Every now and then I'll have a student submit work for this exercise that has more than one vanishing point. I want you to use only one because it allows you to focus more on the challenge of aligning your lines back to that one vanishing point. Giving yourself multiple things to worry about isn't going to help you learn any quicker, instead, it'll slow you down. As such, each exercise is designed with a strategically chosen set of goals. Now, here's the example homework where you can see it's not all perfect, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, move that out of the way. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be. Sometimes that happens that people come in and they want to sub and then it won't let them. Like, I don't know. Are you on mobile? That might be it. Well, I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to make 3 boxes. I don't know what gifting a sub is. And I'm still using that first pen. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Wait. I don't I don't know what you mean by grandma took a pop shot at me. Unless you're like actually my brother who went to see our grandmother. I think it was yesterday. Pretty weird. Which you guys have a lot of questions. It looks pretty close. So I'm gonna make it right about here. What? How is that a pop shot? Alright, now I have to make each box. And... I'm sorry, what? I'm still doing all those things. I'm still gonna find a job and I'm still working on my portfolio. I just don't have to spend 40 hours a week in the warehouse now. What was her tone like? Was she snarky about it or was she rude about it? Alright. So we want to make this horizontal. Can't believe my grandma being so rude. Does she think I'm not working? Does she not realize how much more work I'm doing now? Yeah. You know, when I went to see her, I tried to explain that I'm doing all these things. Like I'm writing a web comic, I'm writing modules, I'm doing a lot of writing in general, but like grandma, come on. And you know, she's been on disability for like 30 years. I don't know. Crazy old bat. Good thing she ain't ever gonna watch my streams. I'm working. I'm working a lot. I draw a comic page every week that has a terrible joke. I'm writing a D&D module as promotion for my webcomic that I also write. I'm gonna write novels. Jesus. Our family does not understand what I do. I and you know, I just finished designing a line of merchandise too. God. My jokes are great. There we go. All right, now I think we're doing this as the depth of the box. Well, you're gonna have to wait a while. I don't know when we're gonna try and get them produced. Oh, it's all right. I've been I dress terribly too. I've just been wearing t-shirts and jeans. So I'm gonna make an imaginary line in my head and hope I get it right. There. I don't even know how many followers I have. I'll I'll work on enabling that stuff later. So, damn it. I feel like I really want to fix that. Nobody in the history of forever should have given you access to funds. and limited responsibilities as far as bills go. No, there isn't a sub button yet. I haven't done anything. Just been here making boxes. You know, I'm pretty sure you know my password. You could probably just go in and fuss with my settings. Comfy boy. Oh, you're right. I don't even know my password. You know what? Let me go find out what it is. It's not hard to find. Passwords. Oh, I know why you don't know it. All right. So a raccoon and an otter. What does that make our sister? What is her animal avatar? These are bad boxes. All right. So now we have to guess the inside. A naked mole rat. I like naked mole rats. Make it an animal that I like less. Remember Kim Possible? Oh, don't sully my childhood. Okay, so now we have to make this okay. Blobfish. Looks like a normal fish in the depths of the ocean, but as soon as you let it out into the daylight, it turns into something gross. Alright, so I think I'm gonna about trying to mentally plot this out with imaginary lines. So it needs to be parallel to this. So my guess is here. That feels like it's really wrong. Maybe I should move it. Okay, let's try moving it. So or maybe the whole box is terrible to begin with. I take it you didn't have a great time visiting her then. What if I think of it like... But then it's not parallel to that. So I think what happened is I just made this box wrong. Oh no! How? Okay, she's never gonna watch these streams. So you just go ahead and dish. She's never gonna watch this. Okay, so it needs to land. But then this is just an incorrect box. So working with that knowledge, I'm just gonna go with my first dot. No, I'm gonna make a new dot, and it's gonna make sense. Okay, I can do this. So Maybe it needs to be higher. I think it needs to be higher. Higher makes sense. Okay, let's try that. Oh, yeah, me too. I felt really bad for them when I visited. And look, I did this box wrong, but that's fine. It's the first one. Okay. Let's make another box. Let's make one right here, make it tall. Yeah, I think we can get pretty desensitized to how she can be sometimes. I can see where that's going. Oh, she wore the cape. I actually really like the cape. I imagine that was very distracting for your date. Trying to think about this in relation to this line here. Needs to be perpendicular. Try there. Well, she's, doing that sort of Lolita fashion thing, which I swear is where all her money goes. Not great boxes so far. Well, she likes you. You're her favorite. My gosh, look at this. This is bad. It's a lot closer, so it's gonna be more dramatic. Actually, I will be right back. Keep talking, bro. I'm back. Oh gosh. Yeah, if I took you and some date somewhere, I'd drop your butts off and then disappear. Where did she go? Welcome to the Drawabox stream, where I complain about my siblings with my other sibling. So note to self, our sister is not a good wingman. Got it. Like a fart in the wind. Oh, sorry. See, that's why you gotta come visit me instead. Cause I live in a nice little city now with lots of cute places to take a date, and I'll do you a favor and not go with you, cause you can walk there. You don't need me. You made a mistake. No, you know what? I can see that this is wrong now that I've turned the page. So it's there. Oh man. So she lost your number, right? That's the thing, and Jennifer owes you a new girlfriend. My lines are very wobbly. Bro, I don't even know, cause that's rough. That's real rough. Maybe get her an edible arrangement. Alright, have fun. You can text me later if you feel like it before you head back. Looks right. It's alright. So, you'll be okay. Go, run, play, have fun. And I knew that was gonna be bad for him. I just didn't realize how bad it was gonna be. That's rough. Poor little bro. Oh man. Yeah, my sister is a character. That's for sure. I think she wore nearly that same outfit when I went to Universal with her. So, yeah. Let's do something lower this time. And that needs to be parallel. Make it wider. I'd like to make it wider. Well, it's not quite right. I think that's right. Oh, I'm struggling. These boxes are tricky, but I'll live. Oh, there's too much to do. Too much to do. Alright, let's make this line. Let's keep going. I need to get through this. Sorry, I crack my hands a lot. Now, remember what I said the other day about that homework being the best looking homework you're gonna make? Ugh. I think I might have made this too close to the vanishing point, but oh well. I don't think any of this is going to disqualify me from moving forward. Ugh. I'm gonna make this a very shallow box to kind of compensate, I guess. Wow, that's really wrong. Oh well, we'll try again. In theory, you'll get better at this as you go. In theory. Who knows? Ugh. I can. They're, they're, they're doing construction. You can't hear it, but I can hear it. Alright, made another box. Alright. Let's put one down here. My lines have been wobbly as heck today. Ugh. Ugh. Oh well. That one was pretty good. Yeah. Alright. I think that's right. Probably not. Why does this track keep coming up? I don't really like it. Alright. So now this needs to be... Okay. I hate messing these things up. This is going to be horrifying when I look at it. I don't... Yeah, why not? Okay, one more and then this will be full. Make it way down here. I think the way I've been holding my pen today has also been weird. That's better. My headphones are hurting my ears. Alright. Alright, let's grade this nonsense. So, we'll take the ruler and I'm okay. I'm just that construction work is really irritating. Maybe I should shut the window. Let's see if that's gonna help. I'm gonna go shut the window. Excuse me while I chuck something out a window at a construction worker. Okay, so now we've got our pen, we've got a ruler, and we're going to take all of our depth lines and extend them to where they intersect with the horizon, which is this right here. So now we'll get to see how poorly I've done this. So we'll start with this one. I don't even remember what was the first. Oh, okay, now I can see it. And then this one, I think this is all of them. Or is there more? Might be another one. This one, I think. No, hold on. Sometimes it's a little hard to see which face is the actual face that's facing me. Especially when that's all warbly like this. Let's just go ahead and this one doesn't even land on the same page. That one goes into outer space. Alright. Next box. Just line the ruler up with the edge and drag it to the horizon. And then the same thing here. And the same thing there. And then one more time. You just gotta live with it. What in the world is this light even supposed to be? This one also is meeting in outer space. It actually stops right there. I just kept drawing for no good reason. Okay. Two more. Drag it to the horizon line and stop. There we go. So I think I just got distracted by how badly I was doing my lines and did not take the time to plot this a little better. So we will try and use our shoulder more and then plot the lines will take a little bit more time when we're plotting these lines than we have been. And we'll see where that gets us. Okay. So this is what I've done. And a lot of it's not very good. Yeah. So these actually made up their own vanishing point, which is right about here. This one was okay, but also not. So I'm going to try taking more time. Just going to go a little bit slower and be more deliberate with our lines. Yeah. I don't think it's any worse than any of the other homeworks that I've done before. Now I have to basically like ignore this entire thing and just gonna hide it. I don't have to look at it right now. I'm trying to draw a new box. Got a lot of paper flying around right now. I'm supposed to fit. How many of these do I need to do per page? Shh. It's okay. Do I need to do 3 boxes on each of these, or can I make like a giant box? Because I think I made my first one almost half the page. No, we'll just do it like this. I'm hiding it because it's distracting me. Also because I don't want to look at it right now. God. I'll look at it again in a minute. I should have measured this. How high is this box? 3 1/4. 3 1/4. So hopefully this is squared up. Alright. Well, now I have to look at it, but I can ignore it. And I've got room for another box. Just turning it around to make sure it looks even from all these angles. I keep going on with my boxes. Then when I'm done with my boxes, I'm gonna watch TV. Now we need it to be straight down and parallel. So let's when we imagine the line, it's not quite right. We're just gonna take our time. All right, now we're gonna make the depth. There's something under here. Oh, yeah, that's a doodle. All right. All right. think that's right. That needs to fall. Bet that's wrong. So this at least falls on the parallel, but it's not right. It's not heading towards the vanishing point. It's heading way off. So I think it needs to be lower. I think that's more correct. Let's try that. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Trying to fix my feet. Hmm. Okay, I think that's good. That's not right. Damn it. Okay, let's correct these. So now this time they're a lot closer to the vanishing point as opposed to last time where we had a bunch that went way off. There's still some that do that, but again, they are a lot closer now at least. So let's do the bottom part of this page. And then we'll do the second page tomorrow because I'm hungry. And I'm not going to eat and draw boxes at the same time. I missed. I should have ghosted it more. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up. Furries are easy money, but the overlap of the it can get scary fast. I knew a few decently followed furry artists. I did some work for them. And so when I was in the business of making merchandise for other people, I did have like maybe two or three people who ordered stuff from me that were furries, and sometimes you just shouldn't Google someone's artist name. Sometimes it just shouldn't be a thing you do. You just accept the PG furry work that they give you, and you pretend that's the world that they live in too. Oh boy. You have to like roll up on a dude and you're like, "Oh, I didn't realize." That was a great conversation. I said, "So yeah, I accidentally or didn't accidentally, but I googled your artist name that you sent me on this invoice, and good for you, buddy. Good for you." I wasn't in the same circles as these people, so even though they were well known in their own circles, I didn't know who they were. I was just like, "Yeah, you want 400 of this? Yeah, I can make that, whatever." I just don't share any of that stuff like anywhere, so I don't have a common name, sorry. It's just my name is never going to be spelled correctly by anybody, and it's a Disney princess name, so I just don't usually care for it. That's why I have that username that I have, because it's in a similar vein, but also very different and not too common either. But unfortunately, there's a MOBA character named Scylla who, whatever. It's not a big deal. I can't remember what that game is called. It's just some sort of MOBA where you play as like ancient gods or something, or ancient, you know, um, mythological deities and such. Not even deities, just popular characters. So, but that's not a big deal to me. It's Smite? Maybe it was Smite. Smite almost sounds correct. I don't know if the werewolf community and the furry community overlap. Oh, that's horrifying to look at. I don't think that's a good box at all, but it's my box. Alright. I'll make more boxes. I'm gonna make one all the way over here. And I'm gonna make it a big chunky boy so that way I don't have room for more. I I have stew for like the second part because my last name is a soup brand company. I don't think there's anybody else really running around with my full name, but I just prefer to use this for the internet. Yeah, Campbell. I like having a username that's a few degrees of separation from my actual name, which is Ariel. So I think it's fun. And then this way, if my grandma Googles me, she'll never find anything I do. I don't think my grandma knows how to use Google, but you get what I mean. Like my parents and stuff. I don't really, I'm not really worried about anything they'll find. I just also don't want to have those conversations with them. Like they'll go, "Cheryl, what's this I hear about you drawing gay dads on the internet?" And I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, look, it's from a video game, okay?" I just don't want to. I don't really talk to my parents that much, anyways. But I also just don't want to have. I don't want to run the risk of having those conversations. They already apparently don't understand what I do, especially my grandmother. If you were here earlier, who apparently thinks I'm some kind of sugar baby. All right, that looks good. Alright, so this needs to be parallel here and then line up with the vanishing point. Let's see if that one's right and we'll go from there. Looks like it's too low. That might be too high. Or maybe in the middle? I think in the middle is right. I think the middle one's correct. Yeah, I'm never gonna have a conversation with my parents about my sexuality or anything like that. That's never gonna happen. We just don't have those kinds of talks. That's why I use aliases. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go and publish a book though, because I don't know. They're not gonna read it. They're not gonna read it. Maybe I just won't tell them. Oh, that's not something I really thought about until now. Ooh, that was a nice line. That felt good. I mean, I've talked to my siblings about all the things that I plan on doing in like my life and stuff like that, and they kind of understand, but my parents aren't the kind of people who would get it. They would just be confused or generally dismissive, and I don't have to put myself through that, so I choose not to. And what would be the point anyways? To make some kind of point to them, to myself? I don't need that. Some people might, but I'm pretty all right where I am. Okay. It has to be. It's not parallel. Now that I look at it from here, it's not parallel. So maybe it needs to be farther back. Maybe it's actually here. I'm doing okay. To be fair, I had a weird nightmare last night about my parents, so I'm in a funky headspace because of that. And then my brother coming in and telling this bizarre story about my sister is just like thinking about my family. That's ugh. I mean, I don't really talk to them much. My mom kind of texts me once in a while, but we don't really have conversations. She mostly just wants to talk about my kid, and that's wrong. I don't know. Family is always the tough part. Maybe it goes actually past it, and I'm just overthinking this. I'm gonna get like right up on here and just kind of look at it, and maybe if I look at it from a different angle, I can get a better idea of what I'm doing. Yeah, that's right. Let me try ghosting this from this side. I think it's right. I think that's the right one. So we're gonna go with it. If it's wrong, that's okay. Hmm. Now my brain is just trying to picture a scenario where I have to explain anything to my dad who I just don't talk to. Oh god, I need a break. I need, I need to go for a walk. What are you doing? Remember the 80s when you played Dungeons and Dragons? And now I kind of write stuff for that, but I also don't. I'm going to school, I'm learning. Well, no, I'm not working a job yet, but I'm getting there. It's just a weird, it would be a weird conversation. I'm gonna go with it. I can't think of anything else that would be more correct, so. Balls, I missed that line. Oh well. I'll move on with your life. Yeah, this is wrong. I was wrong. I didn't think it through. That's alright. I'm a hungry artist, and I would like a hamburger. Someone bring me a hamburger. What in the world is tuna paste? Is it in a tube or is it in a can? Like tuna casserole? Like hamburger helper? Because I was just picturing you with like a toothpaste tube full of pureed tuna, and it was disgusting. I don't even know what you look like, so I subbed in a white dude. Because you know how it is on the internet. Pasta, mayo, tuna. Oh, yeah, that's kind of tuna casserole in my experience. Ah, gotcha. I am also a girl. There we go. Two girls drawing boxes. I hope that's sarcasm. I'm not entirely sure now. Okay, good. No, it's okay. I don't really have a good idea of what I sound like to other people. The voice you hear in your head isn't the same as what other people hear sometimes. I'm just making a mess now. Gosh, dang it. All right. Making a mess. Should really be more careful. I'm almost done. But here I am, losing my head. I'm probably just gonna make salad after this. I'm not even gonna go out. I was gonna roll up on the floor and watch some terrible television. Try and write more of that module. So if I don't want Russia to track my face, I have to dress like a clown? Is that what you're telling me? Alright, I'm gonna draw one more box. Ugh. I'm just stretching my shoulder. If clowns take over the world, I guess that's okay. Can I put a box like... No, I guess I shouldn't. Should have put this last box. I guess below since I did one above. We'll make it really wide. That way I can pretend I'm learning something. Mostly I just have a headache. Alright. There we go. It's not so bad. I guess it's not technically parallel enough, but... Alright. Having to ghost all these little lines is also a pain. It's really tempting to just do them with your wrist. But we're not gonna. Okay, Now let's redline these boxes. Let's see where I've gone wrong in my life choices. My lines have been kind of poopy today, honestly. They keep arcing a little bit or they get unsteady. A lot of things for my brain to do. Something had to give. That's alright. I'm gonna do this again tomorrow. And we'll see if it goes any better. I'm actually gonna grab a different color for this last one. Because I want to be able to see it a little better. And it's really close to the lines on this one. So I'm just gonna do this last one in blue. Okie dokie. So let's see what you can see. Here's what I've gotten done today. You know, it does actually get better as I go along. So this first one, crazy. My lines are all wobbly. My vanishing points, things are all over the place. But second one, a little bit better. Everything's coming a lot closer, getting a little tighter. Lines are still kind of wobbly in places, but a lot of them are actually better. And then this bottom one, same thing kind of. I don't know. I was pretty frustrated at the beginning because my lines are really poop. I'll probably just cut in where I start making boxes, so like right here. Yep. I am still writing that D&D module. I'm gonna probably try and work on it a lot more this weekend. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about those pin designs I made. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna build up some interest in them. I might just go ahead and do the t-shirt designs and then put those up and then look into making the pins in a campaign. Provided that the place that we're getting the shirts printed isn't dog awful. But that shirt should be arriving any day now. The sample one that we got. I'm not doing any. Yeah, it does look pretty good. I'm not doing any art for the module though. I think that's gonna be handled by Urshad. Writing them is kind of different from writing anything else that I've done because on the one hand you craft a story or like a setting, but on the other you have to leave a lot of things open for other people to make their own story out of it. It's kind of interesting. Just trying to balance out guiding them in a specific direction with giving them room to do whatever they want. All right, bye. Don't get in any trouble. Oh, my poor little brother. Just collecting a paycheck. Well, it beats prison. Marginally. I don't know why I put that so high, but whatever. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. I'll put this one really close to the middle because of how small it is. Yeah, I'll get it done before the next week. I think once I get past probably lesson 2 is people will probably start to be more interested because then I'll start to be in an area beyond where most people are. And they'll go, oh, I can't wait to get there. What does it look like when you're actually doing that work? All right. Oh, I had to pop my bag. I totally forgot to make my Instagram post yesterday. I'll have to do that tonight. Oh, too busy. I should take fewer naps. Okay, so let me look at the instructions. That's always important. And we're going to determine some vanishing points. That's what I need to do. And we're going to try and keep these relatively in the middle. Right. So, we're going to make the first face. I'm going to do one over here. I'm going to try and take my time more today, because I think I got a little impatient yesterday. That's definitely not straight. Okay, I think that's straight. Cool. Let me bring this in a little bit more. Little art. Is it still in focus? It kind of looks blurry to me. Does it look blurry to you? I'll just keep going. If it's too much, okay, then it is too much. Let me see if I can fix it. I just changed the settings, so I think it looks better. I can always just go back and forth for now. Oh, fuck. I should have abandoned that line. Oh, well. I can't wait for the critique stream. And you go, what is this? What happened here? What are you doing? No, it's all right. Okay. I think that's good. All right. Alright, so it needs to be parallel to this line. It also needs to be me? How much art background do you have, like beginner, intermediate, etc.? Um, I'm not sure how I would quantify it because, well, the things I've done have been in such a crazy range. Um, you know what? Here's some photos. Yeah, that's okay. I can pull up some photos of like one of the more recent things I've done that isn't a painting of a rock because I don't really count my rock paintings. Just yeah, I didn't really start working on any sort of artistic skills. I guess high school would have been where I started. I took a 3D art program for those few years, studying ceramics mainly. But that was in high school, and then afterwards, I kind of flittered back and forth between a lot of things. I don't think I have a sketchbook with me with any ink drawings in it, but in sometime around my early 20s, I started to work on my 2D art, and it kind of took a while before I got the hang of anything. Um, I'm sending something to my computer that way I can show you. Anything that's not specifically related to work that I do for fun is usually ink or watercolor or a mix of the two. So the last thing that I really spent a lot of time on is loading was this. um no, it's okay. I'm 27 right now. I'm gonna have to cut all of this out, I think. But yeah, I'm 27, and I think around 4 or 5 years ago I started really studying as opposed to just floating around doing this and that. But I did a lot of different things. It's kind of hard to personally determine where I'm at. I I'm gonna say intermediate because it'll make me feel better. I'm gonna turn that back. Let me get back to my box. But as far I don't do art as a career. I'm about to start school in September, and I'm going to go to a art school studying fine art, but mostly I just see learning how to do art as like a means to an end. Doing art isn't the thing I want to do, it's just a tool that makes that easier. Because what I enjoy most is telling stories, and I just want to have all the tools that I feel I need to tell a story in the way that fits it best. Not every story should be a comic book or a movie or a video game or a novel. So if I know how to do more things, there's more stories that I can tell in a way that I feel would suit them best, which is what I want most to do. So, right now, the main thing I work on is Orc and Gnome's Mild Adventures, writing that. And that's really satisfying to work on, but it's not the only story I want to tell, and it's only going to take up a few more years before it's done. And I don't do the art for that. Uncomfortable does the art for that, so I'm spending my time learning skills so I can work on the next project and just keep having everything roll into the next thing. I have a whole little notebook that I have, which is like a bunch of stories written down, and I'd like to get to as many of them as possible before I'm, in the ground. All right, I think this one right here is correct. I think. And it's still a little off. I think that's right. Making all these dots, doing my best. That line sucked. I do like painting for fun. Um, balls. And I like making ink drawings of animals and insects for fun. And of course, there's always ways to monetize that. But that's not the only thing I want to do. I mean, right now I'm trying to finish this series of character class images from like Dungeons and Dragons type things. And it's a lot of work. Everything has to be cohesive, has to all match together really well, and I make this a little taller. And I got the bulk of it done. It's just now it's a matter of taking those designs and turning them into products and getting them out there to people and having them be enjoyed and, make enough money off of them to feed into the next thing I want to do. It's still a lot of fun though. And I have really liked working on them, even though I would get frustrated because I would finish one design and then I would go back and I'd look at the colors and see that, like, oh, I have to go change these colors, or the line art in this design has to change so it can match all the other designs now. And it's kind of crazy because you see people who do that sort of thing. They make a series, but they do it in a traditional format. So I feel like there's a lot more stakes when you do it that way. But they do all right. You can't prevent some evolution as you go along. So you have to kind of work around that. It's always interesting. I don't remember what my point was. I like making stuff. I like making stuff. That was my point. I want to write stories and I want to make cool stuff. I used to make pinback buttons professionally. I would make designs, turn them into pins, sell them, I would also take other people's designs, turn them into pins for them to sell. And I was reasonably successful at it, but I did get frustrated at one point because of the limitations of what I was working with. And if I had continued to grow what I was doing, which I wouldn't be able to have been able to anyways due to my life circumstances, but if I had continued to grow it, I kind of would have been stuck because of all the time that it took to make like 600 pins for one person and 2,000 for my own business. So I also hurt my shoulder doing that pretty badly because I had to make like thousands of pins at a time sometimes. And so I was glad to be done with that. But when I was done with that, I didn't know I didn't know what I should do next, and I had a lot going on, so I started to just focus on, learning fundamental stuff and try and work on stories that I was going to write. I started doing a webcomic, but it was the wrong time for me to start doing it, so I only got like 5 pages in before I had to stop. And then I also, like, after I had stopped, realized that the story I had written it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just trying to be too many things. It was like a very full casserole. So now I feel like I can't really go back to that one. So I've kind of been cannibalizing some of the things I liked about it and trying to put those elements into other stories that I want to write. And we'll see how that works. I am going to make another comic. I'm waiting a little while. There's other things that are more pressing to be working on that will take a different amount of energy. And I'd rather do those while I'm in school than something that's going to take so much time, especially while I'm actively learning the, art fundamentals and color theory and stuff. I'd rather maybe get a year or two into that before I start a big project like another comic that I would be making almost entirely by myself. Which is part of why I had agreed initially to write Ogma, because I wouldn't have to do the art. So it was less of a strain on me. Oh yeah, I love doing different things. I did pottery, I made pin bag buttons, I designed jewelry, I've made handbags. What else have I done? Oh, I very, very briefly made plush toys. That was a nightmare. Um, I've done some amount of oil painting. I didn't care for it at the time. I've designed enamel pins now. I have one that's been made, and I've got 8 more in the back burner. I drew 5 pages of a comic that didn't go anywhere. When I was in middle and high school, I helped write a couple not web comics because I never made it to the internet. I just helped write some stupid comics with my friends. I would come up with a lot of the jokes and the sort of central setting situations and like plot points. At the time, I had a friend who was a lot better at drawing than I was, so she drew them. I also didn't have a lot of confidence. So I'd mostly just drew stick figures whenever it was my turn to draw. Yeah. What's that one stick figure comic? XCKD? Those guys are prolific. I think that's right. Yeah, before I came up to Canada, I was working 40 hours a week in a warehouse. And I was so physically exhausted from that. I didn't have the energy to do anything else. It was really upsetting emotionally and physically. Because you got all these things you want to do. And even though I had 3 days off a week, I'd spend one day physically recovering from the labor I was doing. And then the other 2 days were, oh, just errands, upkeep of your daily life. You got to go grocery shopping. You got to pay bills. That line got really messed up. It's hard. It's a lot easier now to work on things. Content editor. What kind of job is that? Like, what are some of the things that you're expected to do in your daily grind? That sounds kind of interesting. I mean, if you're moving to a big city, there's a chance that you'll be able to get a job doing the same thing if that's something you're interested in. That's wrong. I think I'm just come. Oh. Oh, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be an ugly box. It'll be parallel here. I think here. I've done I had to do that for my own store, but I never got into email marketing. That always seemed kind of daunting to me. Because you'd Google it and then you'd hear about things like MailChimp. See, that's a lot. I feel like whatever you're getting paid probably isn't enough. But yeah, I bet it beats physical labor. Oh gosh, I have so many problems from working in the warehouse. I used to come home and I'd blow my nose and like clean my ears and all this black stuff would come out of my face. I mean, if you're moving to the States, those kind of skills, you should be able to find a job doing something very similar and probably get paid better. Although living in a city, I don't know how that would scale necessarily. Crap. Having this weird problem where I think the way I grip or the angle I'm using isn't. I keep using the like too steep of an angle and then I can't make a line. Yeah, I understand that. Like I made I think 13.45 an hour at my last job and I was like, "Woo, I can have a 2-bedroom apartment to myself. I won't have much money left over, but whatever." As long as I could live by myself and survive, that's all I really cared about. That was wobbly. I should have ghosted that more. I moved from Florida to Georgia, not an upgrade. Um, and the first job I got while I was in Georgia was working at a Goodwill, and that didn't pay me enough to move out of my friend's house. I'd been staying with her to try and get, like a new life situation set up there. And jeez. So when I got that job at the warehouse, like making $5 more an hour, and I could move out and be on my own, I was really excited. I also really wanted to get out of there. I mean, your friends are all great, but not all of your friends are people you should live with. Kipsy, why? Why have you done this? Why are my lines? I keep getting distracted and my lines look crazy. Alright, I'm gonna try and focus a little better. Are you in a prank war with your husband? Is that what's going on? Probably will. I think you've got more time to plan than he does. Alright, that's a little better. That's adorable. 90 years old, still pushing each other down the stairs. Interesting. Oh gosh, now I'm thinking about the first time I was trying to stream Drawabox and I was in my dad's garage. Oh gosh. Let's put one more box in here and then grade these suckers. Oh, I was living with my dad while my life sort of imploded around me, and I took the garage as like a room to work in. And would try and stream in there. But then I stopped doing Drawbox. Hopefully we can find a slightly bigger apartment around the time the lease is up. Because everything's getting a little cramped. Luckily, the stuff that I have coming from the States is just books, and we just built a new bookshelf, so there's room for all that stuff. There's a lot more shelves now, but it's kind of difficult to do certain things. Like, I don't like putting my makeup on in the bathroom. I always want to get like right up in the mirror, and it's hard to do that when there's a whole sink in the way. Or using the medicine cabinet mirror and just having to twist my body so I can use it. I don't like doing that. But I also don't want to bring all those powders near my desk where I've got my keyboard and stuff. So mostly I've just been doing lazy makeup where I just do some eyeshadow and lip balm. Like, yeah, girl. I feel like my glasses are carrying a lot of the weight of making me look good now. It's so hard to tell. You know, I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, I gotta keep attacking these boxes. It's already been like almost an hour. Um, I'm only gonna do Drawbox because when I start school, they're gonna have me do all sorts of stuff, and it's easier for me to just focus on a couple of things at a time in my free time. So once I start school, I'm still gonna do the Drawbox streams until I'm finished. But I'm outside of that, I'm only gonna do a few other things like writing and I guess product design. Because I've been trying to get the online shop off the ground for the webcomic that I write. So our logo's almost done. Hopefully we can get it all done soon. It takes a lot of time to get anything done though because so much has to come to Canada from the States and that can take a long time. Like we've been waiting on a t-shirt for forever. Or at least it feels like forever. But if the t-shirt is okay and we can green light that, then I'll have to go in and do all the designs for the shirt series and then get that set up. I'm not doing the logo though, but the initial shirts and things like that are gonna be all me. And there's probably gonna be more. And I'll probably stream those digital designs. The enamel pins are done, and I can compile those videos into something later, which I will do, but the shirts themselves, I might just go ahead and stream it as like a form of advertising. And I'll basically take the enamel pin designs and drop them into Photoshop and then just elaborate on them and add details and things that you can't do with an enamel pin. So, it'll be fun. Nobody will show up, but I'll have fun. I have an Instagram and a Twitter, and I really need to start utilizing those better. Like I work really hard on the webcomic one, but I haven't done much with my own personal stuff. Maybe if I utilize them a little better, I could get people to actually come watch my streams. Or like more than two. Yeah, it's so much work, and you know, these apps, they actively work against you as far as trying to automate anything. Like they want your full attention. They want you to just live on their app. It's really hard. I mean, I've used Hootsuite to schedule things, but I still have so many things I have to do by hand, and I hate it. I just want to take like one picture and have it just throw up itself everywhere, but it doesn't work like that. Because everything formats differently and all this other stuff. I think I just did this wrong. It needs to line up with these two. It needs to come across here. So I think I have to go with that one. They don't have a universal picture size. They don't have a universal character limit. The way they filter your hashtags is different. I mean, we've been trying to put up all the pages of Agma onto Instagram, and it involves Urshad going in and formatting every page in a different way, and it's a lot of work. And I can't wait until I make enough money to make someone else do it. There. You know what? That looks pretty solid. It's probably wrong, but it looks pretty solid. I'll whip out the red pen. I just But getting other people to do all that is a long ways off, I think. So in the meantime, I'll just have to work out a time of day where I'll just dedicate myself to that. I don't like it. Especially if I have to hop from like my computer to my phone or my iPad. I think most of it I can do on the iPad now, but it's still really frustrating. There's no real alternative to social media apart from, I guess, an email, a mailing list, but that's not going to be as effective. Social media is like running up to a black hole and shouting into it, hoping somebody comes out and gives you a prize. You know what? Apart from the fact that a lot of my boxes I didn't ghost well enough, so their lines are crazy, this isn't bad. Alright. Let me put yesterday's out of the way. Alright, let's keep going. Let me think, what do I have to do tomorrow? Tonight we're building my new desk. This desk has a metal bar running through like the middle part, and my knees bump up against it, so I can't lean in comfortably. I also can't type comfortably. So hopefully at the new desk, when we get it set up, I can do more work at my computer, which would be good. I usually get more done, but I write on my iPad. I got a writing app. I paid 27 Canadian for it, and I do that. That way I can go and sort of roll around. All right. And write and get stuff done. So my entire module's on there. Because you know we're all about that D&D life now. I'm gonna try and spend a lot of time working on that this weekend. And let me think. Monday I have to go down to the customs office. So I guess next week I should be finished with lesson 1. So next week there'll probably be an extra stream for the critique. Since I stream while Urshad's at work, we'll have to do Friday or Monday or something like that. And then I suppose I should see about working on those designs in a stream. Just, work too much. Standard MO. You can't date uncomfortable and not be a workaholic. Although I take naps, he doesn't do that. I also can't physically work as much as other people because of my shoulder and my hip. But maybe one day I can get those looked at and fixed, maybe. Oh, man. I have been thinking too much. It's hard. You try and focus on one thing, and then your brain's like, hey, remember that time in high school you thought you could pull off pigtails and everybody looked at you funny for the whole day because it turns out you can't pull off pigtails? And then and then you're trying to work, but now you're thinking about those pigtails, and you're also thinking about your hairs, and you're like, maybe we should get bangs. I bet we would look great with bangs. Remember last time we had bangs and they were super cute? You'd probably look cute with bangs again. Let's go get bangs. Also, did you gain weight? You might have gained weight. What were we doing again? Oh, right, taxes. And then you forget to file your taxes, but you got some sick bangs. I'm not getting bangs. Don't be afraid. I think I just need to work on scheduling my time a little better. And prioritizing things a bit better. If I can build up a physical visualization of what actually needs to be done versus whatever crazy crud pops up into my brain, I might be more effective. That's all right. I'm just trying to do boxes that suck a little less as I go. I mean, next week I'm rolling into the rotated boxes exercise. So, we got that going. Yeah. I just I want to spend my weekend with Airshad. When he's not at work, I don't want to be doing more work, even though he usually does work. And I can't really drag him out that often. Maybe if I started streaming while he was getting his work done, it wouldn't be so bad. No. That would involve me going out and trying to find people to hang out with. I haven't done anything like that. I don't I don't know how to make friends as an adult. That's why I'm going to school. I'm going back to my roots in my bubble of social security. I don't really want to get involved in any sort of extracurricular until I kind of understand what my workload's going to be like. Balls. I only talk to one of my friends from high school now, and not very often. She lives back in Georgia, and yeah, acquaintances is pretty much what I'm full up on. I'm gonna try and make friends when I go back to school, but a lot of those people are gonna be younger than me. There's gonna be a lot of like, oh, this sweet baby. Oh, you sweet baby coming into school. You think your life is hard. That's usually how I am with people. Because I'm rude, apparently. My grandma is like that. I ordered an Uber for my grandma to take her home from the casino because my dad was supposed to pick us up, but he was late. And our Uber driver was this guy from like the Dominican Republic, and he didn't have the greatest English. So the first thing my grandma does is hops in the front seat with him and spends the whole drive talking to him, asking him like where he's from, does he have family, like what is he doing Uber, that job, is he going to school? And she drags all this information out of this poor guy. I tipped him like $20. I wish I could have had a second to say I'm so sorry, because I think he seemed a little uncomfortable. There we go. That's a lot better. Gran is crazy, yo. I just Socializing takes so much energy out of me. And sometimes you just get nervous. You're just like, what if I invest all this energy trying to socialize with this person and then it turns out they're a Nazi or something? And then you're tired. You're tired and you talk to a Nazi. That's your day. So, I've always personally had the trouble connecting to people my own age because my life experience is so far outside of a normal or average person's range. There's no such thing as normal, but like the average person, the whole trajectory of life. Mine's really out there, so I sometimes find it difficult to relate to people my own age. But I'm gonna make the effort when I go to school to try and make some friends and hang out with people who are different than me. Oh yeah. See, I know exactly what you mean with like the horrible zigzags. When I turned 18, the whole idea of going to school, it wasn't an option. It was just like, no, you're not doing that. We don't have money. Nobody has money. Do you have money, kiddo? Yeah. And now I'm here and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to school. That's crazy. But I'll make the most of it. My sister is the only one that's been to like a college in the more traditional sense. She went to a community college while she was in high school for a couple years. She didn't get her degree finished though because she's an idiot. Also, when she was out of high school, she didn't get to go to classes for free, and she wasn't interested. And it would have been difficult for our family to come up with the money to finish her courses. They would have done it, but she just said, "Nah." So that was wasteful on her part. I don't think her credits are any good now. But oh well, that's her life. And I'm looking at a fine arts degree right now, so oh, we'll see how that goes. I mean, my brother's some kind of engineer now, but he did that through the military. I don't know how that correlates into a civilian life. Although he's definitely technically more educated than any of the other people in our family. I have no idea what kind of job a fine art degree gets me. Um, I mean, by the time I finish, I expect to be super famous from doing, Orc and Gnome. I think actually Orc and Gnome might be finished by the time I finish school. Um, Depending on the trajectory. But I don't know. I don't currently have a goal for what to do with that sort of degree, so I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to career counselors at the school later on. See what kind of like advice they'll have. That's what they're there for, right? Like you just show up to them and he's like, "Have degree, what do?" Help. I am lost student in need of gerb. Yeah, that's what my dad did. He went to a diploma mill, which he'll never admit to, but he did. Even worked for a diploma mill, and he's just drowning in debt. I think now he's got a job in the public school system, though, and if I remember correctly, if he sticks with it for like 5 years, they'll pay off his student loan debt. So that's good for him, but a lot of people don't get to have options like that. And in a fortunate situation for him, he's always wanted to teach. In an unfortunate situation for his students, I don't find in my experience that my father is the best teacher. Or at least not in the experience I've had. So but who knows? We don't talk much, so he could be doing fine for all I know. That's pretty cool. Um, I don't know if the schools that my dad worked for or attended still exist. When my father was in school, he worked for AOL um, in the voice over IP department, and he answered phones for a living. And I think he did sales. I remember our house had like 100 of those AOL Internet Hour discs, like 60 hours of internet. They were just all over the place. I don't even know how you used them. We just had them. I feel like I could have made a chandelier. I used to have an AOL email address too. See, now I'm showing off how old I am. I used to use AOL Instant Messenger, talk to my homies. Hopped on the Skype bandwagon when it was new and exciting. What'd your cousin do? Download a mysterious packet? You remember when parents would say, "Don't tell anybody your real name or your school mascot or your zip code or anything like that. They'll track you down. They'll track you down and molest you." And nowadays it's just like Facebook demands your real name. And everybody just shares that information. We go into Discord and we go, "Yeah, I'm from California and my sign is Sagittarius. I eat at this Domino's every Thursday." Oh, yeah, I remember the Yahoo thing too. I didn't use that one so much. I used mostly Skype, I think. I I don't know. I used to go into these weird forums and talk to strangers, and I think when I was 14 or 15 I started talking to this guy who was probably in his 40s, and it was a really weird situation that I had the good sense to walk away from. Um, I don't know. It depends on how long it takes for these boxes to get done. I'm only doing this one last page and then I'll be turning it off because I have to compile it all into a video. So maybe another 30 minutes? I'm not sure. I'm trying to take my time and do a better job than I did yesterday. I feel like I'm doing a better job, but I'll compare at the end. I put the videos up on YouTube. There's links to them from the website. If you go back into the early parts of lesson 1, you'll see the little raccoon at the bottom of the page. People always wanted Uncomfortable to do like live demonstrations of the exercise, and dude does not have the time for that, so I'm the closest you're gonna get. He's too busy making other types of content for Drawbox. It's the same username as my Twitch, Stew is my YouTube. I'm pretty sure the URL's been changed now. I think I got enough subscribers in my little baby YouTube channel. I think I could fit 1 or 2 more boxes in here. The videos aren't embedded or anything. You just have to go to the channel separately. They're not really good enough for that. YouTube is an arse. But oh well. It'll update eventually. Thank you. The videos are just really simple, like cut and paste situation, but at least they're there and available. Balls. Okay. I'm just gonna do. This will have been 5. I feel like 5 will be enough. After next week, I'll be doing the box challenge. And that's when I'll also start reviewing other pens. So I think that'll be really interesting for a lot of people. I've got a bunch of the Drawabox pens, which is what I'm using right now, and then we've ordered a whole bunch of other fine liners. So we've got a lot of fine liners. I got half of them here with me in this box. And then we've got more coming in the mail, and I'm going to go through all of the 250 box challenge with each page being a different fine liner. So it'll be really good for people who want to know how all these pens compare to one another. And whatever boxes are left after I finish reviewing the pens, I'll just finish with this one because I'm still on my first pen. Brodering Tiki. I don't think I have that one. I don't think I have that one. We basically just got whatever was available on Jet Pens. And whatever was available here at like a local art store. But we do have a Sakura Micron. So, but Uncomfortable really doesn't like the Microns. Yeah, so that'll be the week after next, because next week I'll be finishing lesson 1 and doing the critique. and we'll probably compile all of the box challenge videos into this really long speed run video type thing with notes and stuff in it. I have 2 Copics that I'm going to be trying. The refillable and the non-refillable. So there's a wide sort of price range that we're working in. I think all of these are under $10 per pen though, or under 5. We'll put like what the average price is. Um yeah. That one's gonna be a lot of work. We're gonna have to get like a spreadsheet. I personally have been using for my own drawings and paintings. I mainly use this weird pen that isn't going to get tested because I can't get it. This is a scrapbooking pen that I got at Hobby Lobby back when I was in the States. I use mainly that and the Copic refillable multiliner. But I haven't used a Sakura in a very long time, so I don't remember how much I personally felt about them. I do remember that the reason I had picked them up initially was because an artist that I followed uses them almost exclusively for his inking, and I was like, I want to be professional. Give me the pens. Give me the tools that'll make me look cool. But yeah, that's what I did. All right, that's 5. I got this gap here, but no, we're just going to keep going. Yeah, everybody does that. Now I go in and I think this tool isn't going to make me better, but it might make me feel cooler. Or it might look nice to have on my desk. That's where I'm at. I know a tool's not going to make me better, but I kind of want to be one of the cool kids. Can I be cool? Can I go smoke cigarettes behind the bleachers and, not care about my grades? And sometimes stuff is just pretty and you just want pretty stuff. Like, this ridiculous, drawing compass thing that I saw on Kickstarter. It looks pretty. I don't know how useful it'll be, but like I want it to sit on my desk and I want to look at it and I want to be happy that it's there. I'm not streaming tomorrow. Um, I'll stream again on Monday. Or not Monday, Tuesday, sorry. Yep. Well, have fun. I'll see you if you get back or I'll see you Tuesday. Okay. I'm currently... I'm summoning Uncomfortable to answer your question for you. Hopefully he's not super busy at work and he can come in and answer it for you. Because I don't recall. So give it a minute. I have such mighty powers of summoning. Behold, my power in action. Alright. It's still getting a lot tighter this time around. I have a few that kind of went crazy, but it's not nearly as bad as the first set I did yesterday. Alright. So one more. And then I can finish the other half of my sandwich. Let's make a... Oh, what kind of box should we make? Let's make one that's directly underneath. Well, not too directly, but you know what I mean, like centered underneath. I'm gonna make it kind of long too. He's probably going to watch that part of the video for you. Oh yeah, that's a good line. I feel good about that. I'm gonna feel good about that for a minute. All right. So now needs to be perpendicular and parallel, and if I've done this right, it will line up. But who knows? We'll find out when we grade it. For now, we ghost. Okay. That's not a bad box. It might not be accurate, but it's not bad looking. Okay. Let's draw some more. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Lively discussion. Y'all have fun with that while I make this box. That's ugly. Let's keep going now. Got no choice. I need to take. I'm trying to visualize this. Let's try that one. Alright, now if we just take into account these things here, that should be it. That's wobbly. Nope, the first one was right. My shoulder is getting worn out now. I think it's starting to show. So I don't know. I guess I'll just do one more. I don't want to get myself all busted up, so let's put one over here. I don't know. You want to get hit with some hard vocabulary, you should try reading one of those Scott Robertson books. That'll make you feel like a real dum-dum. Makes you feel like your brain is melting. You just come home, there's something wet on the tile, and you're just like, did you drop ice cream on the floor and not pick it up? And you go, no, it's just my brain. It melted. I was trying to learn about axes. Didn't do a good job. Now get the bucket. I have a copy of the book, and there's also a copy here. I think I have a paperback, though. Comfy got himself a fancy hardback. Alright, my shoulder is sore. So let's grade these so I can be done with this without hurting myself. And we'll just go left to right because that's what I want to do. Well, these got really wacky compared to the others. I'm going to probably accredit a lot of that to my being sore and tired. Girl, don't let anybody send you messages. Restrict your account unless you live for that. All right. All right. So we got what we got. Here's both pages. All done. My camera's at a crazy angle. And so this is yesterday's, and this is today's. I think it's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down. So that's done. And you can see this first one was really wacky. I got this all the way over here, but it does for the most part get tighter up until about here. And I really do think that's because my arm was starting to hurt, so I'd had a little bit less control. Um, you're really best off just hanging out in the Discord because even if uncomfortable isn't there, there's a lot of other people who can help too. And it's not like he isn't lurking on there for most of the day, anyways. So, I have a sandwich to go eat and a shoulder to put ice on, probably. That might be a good idea. Alright, bye.